there's going to come a time in your day-to-day where you find yourself doing very repetitive tasks. You may wonder to yourself, why do I keep having to do these things? Is there an easier way? Well, this video is going to show you how automations work from a high level to get you a general understanding of how you can go about planning and designing an automation. The second thing that I'm going to show you is how to build a simple automation from scratch. So this video is going to show you the fundamentals. So at the first, let's start with our automation checklist. Now, this automation that I have prepared for you is essentially designed to send an email notification and tag a potential client once they have decided to fill out a form. So that is the goal of this automation. And the very first thing in any automation that you do is it has to have a very clear purpose. Now, some of the things that you will need to have as a prerequisite is if somebody's going to fill out a form, you have to have the form set up. If you are going to tag somebody or group them in a specific way, you also have to have that set up. If you are going to send an email, you have to write the email. And if you are going to write an SMS, send an SMS, you have to write the SMS. So these are some of the things that we just have to do beforehand that will put us in the driver's seat when we're going to design our automation. So next thing that I recommend doing is on a piece of paper, or if you have a whiteboard app like Miro, which I prefer to use, you just sketch out the automation very quickly. So the first thing in any automation that you're going to have to be aware of is something has to trigger or start the automation. That is the very first thing. Second, so we have designated that this trigger will be when a client fills out a form. All right. So what do we want to have to happen? So I have put these wait functions in here. So the wait is going to tell the system that, hey, after they fill out the form, you wait. Maybe you want the client to get a notification immediately or right away, or if you want to wait a specific period of time, you'd specify that right here. But when the client fills out a form, I actually don't want there to be any delay in the time when they get a notification. So what I will do is I will move this wait function over here. Reason being is that I want them to immediately get the notification. So what we just did effectively is we're still in the planning stages of the automation. So this is helping us to think through it. So you'll notice here that I have said, all right, the client fills out a form. When I remove the wait from any action that's going to happen, the action happens immediately. So what I mean by that is all these things are going to happen one after the other. So the client fills out the form, they get a confirmation email, and then they get a client. Then we tag the client. What happens now is now the system waits. And if you have nothing else that's going to happen, it is just going to wait for that period of time, and then something happens. So you may say that you want the system to wait for like 2 days, right? So I'm going to say wait for 2 days. And then let's say after the 2 days is done, you want to send a text message. So I'm going to put a function here that says send message to client. And remember, before we can send a message to the client, we have to write the message. So now that we've planned out this automation, let's show you how to implement it. So we're going to jump over into high level, and we're in our dashboard right now. What we want to do is go to automation. We're going to hit create workflow. And then instead of selecting a recipe, we're going to start from scratch. So just like what we did in our wrong form, so we want to set up our trigger first, which is the first trigger is the client fills out a form. So let's call this automation something like client And please name the forms based on what the activity is, okay? This will help you as you get multiple automations over time. So this is a client booking request, for example. Let's say that that's what this is. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a trigger. I'm going to type in the word form, and then you'll notice here, they could submit a LinkedIn form, an order form, TikTok form, Facebook lead form. I'm going to select a regular form, and then I'll say, I'm going to name this, and I'm going to say client booking request submitted. This is going to be helpful later on. Now I'm going to click filters. The standard fields, I'm going to tell the CRM that the form is going to be, in this case, we're going to select whatever form is important to you, but let's say that this is a consultation form. And then I'm going to hit save trigger. Now I've set up my first trigger. I'm going to go back to my sketch. I'm just going to close this. Let me go back to my sketch. So now they fill out the form. Now we want to send a confirmation email. So now I'm going to type in the word email. Look at that. We have an email function here, which I will click. And you can name the email. So this is going to be our confirmation email. And this is why I recommend you sketch it out first. I'm going to say that this is coming from Jordi. And this is going to be coming from jordi@jfpstudios.org. And I'm going to say, you are all confirmed. That's great. Now, I recommend clicking save action, because sometimes, and it's happened to me plenty of times, where I'll be working on the automation and then sometimes I hit X by accident. You just never want to have to create the whole automation from scratch. Now, there are two ways that you can go about setting up your emails. You can create a template, which in this client account, we have templates. So you could pick one of the templates, or you could just write the message here. So I'm just going to do one for you to demonstrate. Hey, and then we want to put the first name. How do we find the first name? We're going to click on this thing that says custom values. We're going to go to contact, and then we're going to go to first name. Hey, I got your request for booking a consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you. Great. So I'm going to hit save. Now we have the confirmation email set up. I'm going to go back. The next action that we want to do is tag the client. So how do we do that? We're going to go to the plus sign, hit actions, and then we're going to hit tag. And look at that. We can add a tag. We could remove a tag. So we're going to hit add contact tag. And then we're going to add whatever the name of the tag. So naming your tags is very important, because you're going to want to name tags for different things. So you just name your tag appropriately here. If the tag is not available, you can also type it in. So this may be first time investor. See, the tag is not there. You click add new tag. Then you're able to add the tag. And then the tag works. And you may call this now the first time investor tag as an example. And then you notice as I'm naming everything, it now becomes very clear to me what the actions are doing. Now, the last thing in this automation is going to be our wait function. So we're going to hit the plus sign again. Then we're going to type in wait. We're going to hit action. And then we could tell it to wait for minutes, hours, or days. In this case, we're going to pick days. And then we're going to hit 2 days. And then the action name is going to be wait 2 days. Because if it just says wait, we won't know how much time it is without clicking into it. And we don't want to waste too much time. So now we've built everything. The next thing we're going to do is send a message to the client. So now we're going to hit SMS. And you can have the system send the SMS for you or do a manual action. So we're going to hit send SMS. And the send SMS is going to say, hey, I found this video, or hey, I always say, send your own content if you have it. Hey, I made this video on how to do XYZ. Everyone's been watching this video and telling me it's changing their lives, right? And from there, you're going to hit save. So this is going to be send valuable info, right? My spelling is a little off today, but we're going to hit save action. And there you go. Now, once you are complete, please hit save. And what I recommend before you publish in your workflow, use this test workflow button. You'll be able to select any contact that is in your list, and this will allow you to just work through the automation first to ensure that it's working exactly how you want it to work. And this is how you take an automation from the page to the stage by, one, just planning out your automation and deciding what it's going to do, then doing a minor sketch of the automation itself, and then putting it together. This is how you do an automation. Hope that this was helpful. This is the fundamentals of how to do this. You can make these more complicated, but I always recommend planning it out first so that you can get yourself off to a good start. I hope that this video was helpful. And as always, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.